Hello, guys. We're talking about a very powerful Mercury in the heart of the sun or conjunct the sun. Sometimes we can call that a cazemi. And it's going to be coming up as a part of a very rare stellium in Aquarius, making this sky exceptional. We're going to see that cazemi at 1 degree of Aquarius on January 21st. I hear you right away. What is a cazemi, or what does Mercury and the sun's conjunction energy mean? Well, we're going to go into that today. I'm going to explain how it works. I'm going to talk about some shocking news stories that are going to come through our sky in the collective this week ahead. The Cazimi's on January 21st, which in my time zone is a Wednesday. I'm recording this for a Monday drop. But Mercury is the messenger of the gods. He's the planet that circles the sun, very close proximity, the closest planet to the sun. The sun is headquarters, divine intelligence. It's the top energy of the solar system. It's what keeps it all rotating, right? Around the sun we go, like a Ferris wheel or a merry-go-round. And these are metaphors because the sun is the hub of our solar system. It's the hub of the wheel. And when we look at solar energy in ancient astrology, we don't talk about the ego. That's not true. The sun represents divine intelligence. It represents the actual algorithmic storyline maker. If you want to call it a maker, call it a maker. And it is more important than one's ego. In astrology, actually, it is your divine essence. I'm an Aries sun and I'm made of fire. If we had a rainbow, it prisms white light into multiple colors. I'm the color of fire. And my character in the simulation is the ascendant. The ascendant is not your soul. Some astrologers seem to get that wrong for some reason. The ascendant is your character, how you look, what you act like, your personality, your facial features, your body type. Right? Like, look at any Aquarius rising, guys, or even Capricorn rising. They tend to be lean. The lean one is Saturn. We're ruled by Saturn. Look at the Leos. They have big hair. Donald Trump, big beards. J.D. Vance. Okay. Big hair. Women with leonine hair. And I think it's Betsy Johnson. She's their Leo sun or Leo rising. Look how flashy all of her clothing are as a designer back in the day. So why I'm bringing that up, because I really want to reorient you to how to approach this powerful Mercury Cazimi. Why do I call it powerful? For one thing, Pluto's in Aquarius, and this is happening really tightly conjunct Pluto. So talk about transformation, rebirth. The Sun-Pluto energy, as well as Mercury, are all together right beside each other, as well as we're going to be coming into this powerful stellium of all the planets hanging out in Aquarius. This kind of stellium we saw in the same time of year, 1994. It's uncommon. And this stellium is power packed. It's got Mercury and Venus and Mars joining in on January the 23rd. Pluto's packed in there. Right. It's intense. It's intense. And so what can you do when on Wednesday, Mercury joins the sun? Because I'm going to talk about that for your sign. But to give you a heads up, it's like the divine headquarters has a hookup, like the hotline at the White House, where supposedly the White House can hotline to Russia, like get on the red phone and, hey, guys, we got to talk. That kind of thing. Well, this is like Mercury. Hey, we got to talk. Mercury, on your behalf, is talking to divine headquarters, the intelligence that runs the damn show. So if you want to get a divine message that day, I suggest you pay attention to your dreams, that you watch for synchronicities, that you pay attention to unlikely coincidences, that you expect that phone call, text, or email that comes through your storyline or conversation with somebody. Form of communication happens on the 21st. We'll give you divine headquarter mission instruction, clues to something that's going on in your whole sign house called Aquarius. And by extension, the houses that Mercury rules in your chart, which is the Virgo and Gemini sky. And we're going to talk about that today for your sign. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Lori Lothian, and this is the astrology of the week ahead. We're highlighting all about Mercury and the sun, because that is the most potent, powerful story of this week ahead. Yesterday, I dropped a video about the stellium and talking about your life, January 23rd to February 8th, as this once-in-a-lifetime stellium happens. It's once in a lifetime because of Pluto. Go watch that video as well. In the meantime, I have to tell you, I call it reality bending stellium. I have to tell you that this Mercury is also on the other side of the sun from the Earth. And therefore, it's an interesting one because the Mercury conjunct the sun on the other side of the sun rather than between the Earth and the sun tends to also kick off major world events, as well as, of course, still gives us our divine downloads from the, solar system energy, God himself, Ra. Ra. I want you to think about Ra for a minute. Did you know that the ancient Egyptians believed that God was Ra, the sun god? Did you know that it was a monotheistic religion in the sense that then there was a pantheon, just like in India? There is like the one God, right? The one big top God energy, and then there's a pantheon around it. So it's interesting to me that the worship of a sun god is more true. And Jesus is a sun god. By the way, his death and rebirth story is literally a sun god story that exists in all ancient religions. So Jesus was also a sun god, and he came to bring he said, not by works, but by faith. He came to bring a new path for humanity, one that was connected to the solar impulse. And it's our own inner divine intelligence. The sun is not like, let's bow down and worship the sun. The sun is a reflection of what's the spark of the divine within each of us. So in that regard, please enjoy this cazemi. Don't be afraid of it. Although I will tell you that the Sabian symbol is an unexpected thunderstorm. And this morning I drew a card from my tarot deck asking me to give me clues about the cazemi for world events, and I got the Tower card. And yes, we will have a Tower moment in a world event that may surprise, if not shock us, and I'll show you the sky and tell you why. It probably involves a leader falling from power or falling from life force energy and being without his life or her life force energy this week ahead. So I'll talk more about that when we get over to showing you the chart. Thank you to all of you. There's 6,500 new subscribers in the last 28 days to my channel. My normative would be 2,000 to 3,000. I'm not sure what the algorithm did, but choose to love me up just when I was getting exhausted with my channel. By the time I got to the third week of December, I had only 397 subscribers that month, which would have been like shockingly low for me. And I was ready to actually pack up my suitcase and move on to other projects. And lo and behold, somehow the universe said, okay, we'll give you a reason to stay. So I'm really grateful. If you're new here, say hi in the comments. I'd love to say hello to you. I do check my comments. I can't read all of them, of course, but I read quite a few. And also, if you want to get a way to time your best life, check out my description box for 2026 videos. Each sign has a 2 hour plus video, up to 2.5 hours. There's an overall PDF guidebook for all signs. The product is for sale still. I continued the sale price from December. So it's all there for you. Get the bundle, all 12 videos, or get your individual sign. It's up to you, but it will help you navigate 2026. It's the best next thing to getting a reading with me already. Which I'm not giving away. I'm not hardly doing them anymore. The other thing I want to mention, because I'm writing books, and the other thing I want to mention is I'm doing free, hear that word, free, Mercury Cazimi webinar. And it's coming up on, I can't remember if I'm doing it on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day I'm doing it, come join me for the Mercury webinar, diving into how to use this cazemi for your sign, looking at the minor asteroids and giving you a guided meditation. The sign up link is below this video in the description box. Okay, so let's show you the sky. But before I do, here's something I want you to think about. If you go back to 2018 and 19, roughly this time of year, right, in the winter in January, we had Mercury join the sun, all right, that get into the conjunction to the sun in what's called a superior conjunction on the other side of the sun from Earth, right? That's where Mars, Mercury, and Venus are all sitting now, on the other side of the sun. We can't see them. They're under the sun's beams. And so those Mercury conjoined the sun on the other side of the sun, superior conjunctions, happened in 2018, 19, and 2012. We had other conjunctions when he was retrograde between the Earth and the sun. But this may take you back to what your life was like, let's say January, add 6 weeks, right, into mid-February of 2012. Similarly, 2018 and 2019, those winter cazemis were happening in the same way they are happening this time around, without Pluto there and without a jam-packed stellium, but still is Mercury in Aquarius, the water bearer, an air sign, in a superior conjunction in January 2012 and also 2018 and 19. And you will be able to compare the vibration of that and things that may have been going on then that could be going on now. All right, cycle repetition and pattern recognition and cycle repetition is my mantra, because that's what astrology is. It's God's clock, it's gears within gears, it's patterns within patterns, it's cycles within cycles. We use it because we know it's predictable and it's useful. I don't even know how astrology works. When people say, I don't believe in astrology, you don't have to believe in it. It works. It just works. So mechanism doesn't need to be understood for how something, if something works, I don't need to know the mechanism by which it works. It works. It's accurate, it's reliable, and it produces accurate forecasts for our lives. Let's go ahead. Well, let me show you the chart. Now, this is called Lori on the Sofa. I've decided to become Palm Gregory because I'm no longer working at my desk. When I do sessions for you guys on YouTube recordings or live streams, which will be coming to my channel soon, I literally do it here. Join my members only. We have live streams for you guys already. I'll be doing maybe a weekly live stream for the general public. So if you want to check my members only stuff out, I've got a couple free courses for you guys that I have taught, and you get to watch Chiron, the key to purpose, and all of that. And Chiron for timing your life cycles. Those 2 free courses are a gift to my members only community. So go check it out in the description box below. Yeah, I'm a bare-legged girl, and I never wear shoes in my house. Okay, so it is warm here. You can see the sun, warm enough that I'm in my summer dress. Vancouver, Canada. Here's the chart, guys. Let's get going. Let's waste not a bit of time. Remember, the Sabian symbol is that thunderbolt energy. It is an unexpected thunderstorm. I don't know what to say other than it's going to be a world event that shocks us, knocks our socks off, destabilizes, disrupts, topples the tower and the tarot. It's the same archetype. It's the same vibration. And when you look at the sky, you'll see right here, let me get my mouse because I got overuse injury in my shoulder from always doing this. So it's called an impingement, and I've been working on exercises for it. Right here, see, is Mercury at 1 degree and 37 minutes, the sun at 1 degree and 37 minutes, same thing. And they're basically conjunct. That adds up to an 11, which is the justice card in the tarot, or a 2 if you wish to take it down to a high priestess. But there's an energy of justice or karmic divine retribution, if you want to call it that. And you're going to notice that there's a lot of asteroids here. And I really am not going to spend too much time on it, except in my guided meditation. If you want to come to my guided meditation, I'd love to have you there for my free class this week ahead. OMG, let me just, and there's a replay. I need to open the window. It's so warm in here. Holy man, I am in a hot spot. When you have to open the window in the middle of winter, the climate is changing. This is Canada, guys. This is winter for us. That's better air. Now, what I want to point to, by the way, in my guided meditation, we'll talk about Arwan. Arwan is the Welsh king who wants a utopian world with no disease and better health. With Mercury here and the sun, and it's trining Hygeia in a broad trine, it could be possible we'll see some news coming up in our news cycle this week with a cure for an illness that has been plaguing humanity. We might find that somebody has hacked something, and we have a cure for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. I don't think we'll have a cure for cancer. It's its own industry. You know, it'll put the industry out of business. It's sort of like you can't put the oil and gas industry out of business, right? When anytime someone discovers an energy source that's not coming out of the earth. So I don't know how much chance we have of breaking through the cancer industry. But if we did, that would be wonderful. So it could be a cure for a type of cancer, like no one's going to die anymore of blank cancer. Prostate would be a good one. So there is this breakthrough energy that could come through around a medical reveal that's positive this week ahead, as well, and close to the Cazimi day, maybe on Wednesday. It could be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as well as the energy of Mercury and Icarus and Pluto, death, rebirth. There's Atlantis as well. A reveal around an underwater discovery, an ancient civilization, what's under the pyramids, what's under Giza, a new lost city or temple buried in the jungle. Something could be discovered here this week ahead in our news cycle as well. Medusa decapitation, all right, losing her head. And Icarus falling from the sky, his wings melted. His dad's invention was wax. And so who is it that could fall from the sky this week ahead? This is Aquarius. It will impact Aquarian energies in the world. Aquarius leaders, Aquarius nations. For example, China is an Aquarius rising with moon. It's moon here as well in early Aquarius. So there's maybe a China falls from power. Maybe Xi Jinping will fall from power. And there are other things that are Aquarian, right? This is also the whole territory of Donald Trump's descendant or his house of open enemies. So who would Trump and by proxy, the United States, right? Because he's the leader, call their open enemies that they will say, we're like, this is our enemy. Well, I don't know. I mean, they're always talking about China being the bad guy. So, and Russia. So Vladimir Putin is a Scorpio. Okay, I don't see him being much impacted by this, but I could be wrong. But all said and done, he's a Scorpio rising, probably. It's possible that there will be somebody that Donald Trump and or the United States and his administration considers to be an enemy of the United States, and that would lead to an unvitality force energy that keeps you from walking and talking. Somebody might be taken down that way. You think I'm crazy for talking this way, and I'll explain it to you guys one more time. About 3 weeks ago, YouTube changed its standards and community standards, and now they have these extra things to check off before I load a video up for you. And I can't talk about death or tragedy. I can't talk about weapons. I can't talk about anything that could be controversial or sensitive. I can't talk about that stuff, because if I do, that will take the video off, they'll demonetize it, and then they'll shadow ban me. So we're now using a lot of stupid code words. I won't even say the name of the country in the part of the world that just had all that travesty, because that's also being now banned out. So we won't say the names of that country. Think of a hornet's nest in a region of the world called the Middle East. The country that's the hornet's nest in the Middle East, I can't talk about that here. Sorry about it. I can talk about it in my Patreon community. I can talk about it at Substack. I do all that stuff. It's in my description box below. But who could fall from the sky? Because when you look at the sun, it could also be an airplane. And especially with Diana, the huntress, she's things that fly through the air, right? Because she shoots arrows. She's got a bow and arrow. She hunts with a bow and arrow. Crossbow girl. So there could be something falling from the sky that's flying through the sky. But you know what? Other things fly through the sky, kinetic devices. So there's all this stuff. And because I do the Tower card, and because it's a thunderstorm that's unexpected on the Sabian symbol, which rounds up to 2 degrees of Aquarius, I do think there's going to be a bit of a shock-off story. And I know Trump just announced that we're not going to actually bother the nation of Iran. After all, we changed our mind. But he does that kind of thing, right? It's supposed to be a decoy. So I don't think I wouldn't trust anything he says. Also, he's got that Gemini Jekyll hide, and probably some measure, perhaps, of being in a state of cognitive decline. And I'm not pro or anti Trump or anything US. I'm Canadian. But all said and done, he does change his mind a lot. That's a verifiable fact, right? So who knows? But look for that story, unfortunately. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, epicenter Wednesday. Now we're going to do your sign. I think I'm going to break rank and start with Aquarius, because it is happening in your sign and it is a big deal. And you'll have to go back to like January 2012 and 2018, 19 to kind of compare notes. And in fact, a lot of you know I'm a teaching astrologer. I like to show you why I say something. I want you to be able to get a visual on that. So let me show you what I mean for those of you who are learning astrology. And my passion is to teach it, so that instead of me giving you a fish, I'll teach you how to fish. I'll probably teach Sky Reader again in the fall. I was thinking of moving it uncharacteristically to the summer, but I think I just want to relax in the summer, not teach myself. So you see what this chart looks like from astro-seek.com. It's a free a search engine that you can use there called Aspect Search Engine. I just entered in the symbol for the sun, the symbol for Mercury, the conjunction symbol. I put a date of 2001 to onward, and I let it go for both retrogrades and direct motions. And here's what I mean. 2001 to 2002, it was in January, February. Mercury was with the sun in retrograde. We don't count that. This is like 2005, 2006, superior conjunctions, all right? See that? 2005, February, January, 2005, 2006, similar vibe, just like February of 2012. So it was February of 2012, right? And then add 6 weeks for the unfoldment of a cazemi fully. And then we can also go over to here. What about February of 18 and late January of 2019? Look at that. So these things kept happening, will keep happening, continue to happen. And here we have again, February of 2025 and January of 2026. Okay, again, superior conjunctions. So yes, we had one last February, but at least you can 25, 26, track the rhythm. 2018, 19, track the rhythm. 2012, 2005, 2006. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to track your own life and see how this may be somewhat comparable. Mercury gives you information, news, ideas, discovery, communication, reorients you because you have a new tactic mentally for something you're trying to accomplish in your reality, that kind of thing. All right, so let's go back to the sky and start with Aquarius, and we'll whip through the chart together. This is my Monday drops, which tend to be the shortest of all of them. And I may be moving my weekly to Sundays as a live stream and changing my format. So stay tuned for more information. So if you are an Aquarius sun, moon, and rising sign, the Cazimi on Wednesday, and it's pretty exact around 8 a.m. in the morning. Give it about 6 hours before and after for maximum potency. I like the 6 hours after a little bit better than before. All said and done, it's good for magic. What kind of magic would you do, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising? You would set an intention. You could do a vision board. You would ask your dream messengers and the oracle of the dreams at night to give you guidance and true information. You could also be extremely sensitive on that Wednesday in particular, right? It could be anytime, like, after midnight, honestly, when you go to bed on the 21st for the dreams. But just really pay attention to the whole day of the 21st in the time zone of Pacific Canada. Adjust for your time zone. It's 8 a.m. Pacific, like Los Angeles time. A phone call, a text message, it's an email, a conversation. Pay attention. Mercury is the maestro of synchronicity. What synchronicities unfold to give you clues to something that you need to pay attention to in your reality. And it's profoundly transformational because of the energy of Pluto right there. Because it is an unexpected thunderstorm, but also it relates to the archetype to me of the tower. There could be a very intense time on Wednesday. It could arrive a day before or a day after, but certainly Wednesday, where there's kind of a lightning bolt that hits you. Now, it's happening to you. So Aquarius sun, your career and your purpose and your deep soul essence. Aquarius moon, your emotions, your home life. Aquarius moon, your mama. Aquarius sun, your dad. But then Aquarius rising, it's your character in the simulation itself. And your character is having a massive jolt of insight, self-definition, reorientation, refocus in your life on something completely different and new compared to what you've been up to already. All right. So it's that kind of intense vibe. I'm going to get rid of that midheaven. It's in the way. We don't need a midheaven IC. Sorry about that. It was for another chart. I was working on a project before I did you guys. All righty. We don't really need Athena anymore. Well, she's there. She's strategic, but she's out of bounds. She's moving on. So well, I should put her back in there. Let me put her back in there. If you wanted to write a book, I found Athena is lawyers, authors, and astrologers. Go figure. It's a long story. But this could also be like a breakthrough communication idea, download, insight to write a book, because Athena is there at the tail end of Aquarius. What books do you need to write? Now, Mercury could translate this insight, this download, this information coming directly to you at a theater near you to matters to do with bolts of insight connected to your children, to romantic love, to entrepreneurship, to creative projects. You see that part of the sky right here, where Mercury can roll out the goodness to your fifth house. This could be a lottery win. Hey, yeah, it could be. This is where you win money and you could go kaboom. What a lottery strike. It felt like a thunderbolt of excitement. He also rules your eighth house. The eighth house has to do for you guys with matters to do with your chunky money, royalty income, ad income. It's so funny. I'm going to laugh. You guys are going to laugh at this, but Google AdSense is having problems and they keep giving me a notice that they're having, not just me, they have been unable to properly calculate ad revenue from December 15th. No, like December 30th to January 15th, meaning that they're not calculating my proper ad revenue. Now that would be funny if suddenly, boom, I get my proper payout and it shocks me because it's much larger. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's also taxes, tax incentives, structures for money, investing in the stock market. And it could translate some of the energy from that shock and awe of the eighth house, a chunk of money as well, especially given Mercury rules your house of luck when it comes to winning money, ballots, tickets and stuff. So buy your lottery ticket this week, see what happens. Let me know in the comments. How does that go for you? I'll get my lottery ticket the day before the Cazimi, the day of the Cazimi, and the day after the Cazimi. And I got a card for us. I'm not reading the book for us. Talisman. I said it's a magic talisman. Can you make a talisman on that day? Can you do a sacred drawing or make a candle or spell cast upon an object that you're going to call sacred and talismanic. Sometimes just get a rock in the garden or walk around town and find a rock or a pebble, paint something on it, a symbol or whatever. A talisman can be your lucky horseshoe, your four-leaf clover. It could be a ladybug symbol. These are lucky symbols. But a talisman is a good idea for you archetypally. Maybe even create and infuse a talisman on the day of the Cazimi, Aquarius, and see if you can't make your own luck within the bounds of your karma and your dharma. We're moving on. We are. And we're talking about Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. I know Pisces, I hear you already. I'm not last, I'm not least, I'm best, I'm always best. And you are not, you're second this time. I know you're happy to hear that you're not really last again. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. You've got the energy here of a powerful Cazimi in an enlightenment house, but also the 12th house is dreams at night and, solitude and introspection and meditation, contemplation, aloneness. And so in your aloneness, in your contemplation, in your meditation, you may have a kaboom of an insight. You may be propelled to write about it. Mercury is the writer. And the reason you might want to write about it, especially, if you ask me, is because you have like the divine downloads at Uranus, the pineal gland, shock and awe in your house of writing, while you have the book goddess in your house of your solitude. So if you're a Pisces thinking of writing a book, look no further than a divine download, insight, or dream to guide you towards the proper direction in the creation of a written product. Similarly, you might have a sudden surprising bolt of lightning in income sources coming to you from distant places, foreign lands, and foreign shores, especially if you're working also in the social media landscape. Could be a nice little information jolt or news that's relatively surprising, but probably positive around money matters. Backroom deals and negotiations may serve you. You don't even have to be involved. You find out people on your behalf have been negotiating for you, and you might find yourself getting some information that shows up as exciting news about something you want to accomplish, and you've been kind of given a red carpet excitement, news, information, phone call, text message, email. Pay attention Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, especially Wednesday for that. Now, if any of you have been wanting to change your location, to move to a new home. In this chart, it could be a rental property. It could be a purchase or sale or buy. And you might get the information or news that you've been waiting for in order for that to happen. And that's because of your fourth house Gemini. And you might have some information or news coming from a significant long-term relationship partner. That is because that's going on in your seventh house at Mercury rules. And technically, it could end up looking like a sudden divine download, a bit of information, some kind of news that's going to open up a door of understanding or clarity about a long-term relationship or a karmic relationship path. So it could be very interior, not so much on the outside, but inside, go within or go without, inside edge information that you are able to generate through your insights, dreams, and contemplations. But you could also get that text message, phone call, especially if it's from a partner or a romantic person who's not living where you live, like who lives in a distant shore or far off land, and some kind of phone call, text information that comes jolting through the sky that is unexpected, exciting, and very important for you to receive. Oh, wait, I need my mouse. I'm so used to lifting my arm. Right about Aries. You're not first this time. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. I got a sun and moon. I am definitely vibing with you, and my Aquarius rising is with you, Aquarians. I'm one of you. All right, look. Remember, I told you guys the whole thing. I have to keep saying it. Sun is your deepest core self, whereas ascendant is your simulation avatar. So the sun is the actor. The ascendant is the role in the movie, all right? And the moon is your feelings, emotions, and home and stuff like that. So here we have Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first thing I want you to know is we have what we call a very positive house where we often associate it with windfalls, dreams and wishes come true, pennies from heaven. Very positive things like karmic and cosmic rewards are generated off the 11th house. This is an important stellium. It's so heavy and weighted here. It's incredible. But at the same time, we've got that video that came out Sunday about the stellium. So go watch that video the day before the Monday drop here. But we're focusing for the week ahead on Wednesday's Mercury Cazimi for your sign. This very positive energy that's playing out here. So Mercury is going to get some kind of information or news to you. It may feel like a thunderbolt or electrical strike or some kind because of the thunderstorm energy, but it should be a positive thunderstorm. And it connects you to the energy of your wishes, goals, and dreams. And it could be a dream come true moment. Like, I don't know. The 11th house is the gains of the 10th house. So the financial and the rewards and the recognition and the celebrity and the accolades, when someone takes an Academy Award moment, they're in the 11th house. They win an award. It's the gains of the career. So there could be Mercury news or information that's going to pick up with Venus, a delightful opportunity to expand your career gains of some way. On Wednesday, you could get a new client. Venus rules client. She's over here. Customers, audience. You could get an invitation to be on your favorite podcast or your favorite TV show or your favorite radio show, because this is very broadcast central into the realm of the public, influencing people at large. You might also get something like a windfall off of this. With the sun up here, the sun rules your house of winning money, right? So you're another sign like the Aquarians, I think I said. You think it was? Anyway, you should buy a ticket. Not a bad day to win some money. Okay. So I think this is a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're coming into a lottery win, for example, or a casino win, or a betting win, a game of chance. Winning money and money luck is coming your way. And all the energy is the information or news that you have won, right? That's all, the phone call, the text, the email. A friend who's in a place of power, like a benefactor or an ally or a patron, may step up and want to help you, or you may get some unexpected benefits coming your way from a sibling one older than you, like a phone call, a text message, and you're like, oh my God, thank you. You're going to give me your car? Thank you. Now, I said car because Mercury is also the owner of your third house. And that's often transportation vehicles in a way. It's like we have to get around the neighborhood or the city. We got to take a subway, submarine. I'd like to take a submarine around my neighborhood myself, a flying car. But you could be getting some good news about vehicles, but also your third house is good news about social media, online world, writing, teaching, podcasting, learning, marketing, and selling. Good news from a sibling, one younger or any sibling, including one older. Good news about them or from them coming to you. And also Mercury does rule your sixth house, and that's a work house. So it could be good news about work, rental property opportunities, pets, and debts, and debt elimination. If someone has owed you money and you haven't seen it the light of day for years, you've written it off as a loss, then someone could say, hey, I got the money to finally pay you back. Actually, if somebody owes me about $3,000 for like the last decade, if I ever heard from this person ever again, it would be a miracle. But I don't expect to, and nor do I need to. But I mean, that kind of weird shit could happen here, where the windfall is literally money owed to you comes back to you. Okay. All right, that's what we got for you. Enjoy the week ahead, Aries. Let me know how it goes. Oh, I was going to pick a card for everybody. Uh-oh. It was Aquarius, got a talisman, and I left out the Pisces. I'll have to add you guys to the end and have my sister timestamp it. Compass. You want to navigate to your true north. The compass is always, to me, the symbol of true north. You want to line up with your dharma, your purpose, God's plan for your life, the pole star of your reality, the world axis. Go for it. Make sure you navigate this sky with an intention towards purpose and guidance from the magnetic north of the sun, which is the algorithmic big boss here on planet Earth / the simulated reality that we're in. If you don't know that it's a simulation of some sort, yeah, it is a base reality, dudes. You're missing the boat. All right. Let's move on. And yes, Pisces, I know I missed you. At the end, I'll just draw a card for you and have my sister timestamp it at the end. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a sky where you're going to notice there's something breaking through in your career and reputation space. Now, the 10th house is a lot of things: weddings, wakes, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, christenings, ceremonial rituals we do in the public eye. And therefore, it also includes your status, like I'm divorced, single, married, widowed. So there's something like to remember, it's not just your career up there for you retired folk. It's also, even if you're retired, I assume you get out of bed in the morning and do something, right, that people witness you do. So it's the public sphere of your interactions where people notice you doing things in the world. So your actions visibly expressed in the world. And think of high noon at the OK Corral. So at high noon at the OK Corral up here, where you do all this stuff, there's a new message coming through. There's like, okay, divine spark, divine download coming in from what? 10th house. a boss, an authority figure, a father figure, somebody connected to your work environment, somebody that you look up to. All right. Information news coming from that arena. For example, a boss might tell you you're getting a promotion, you're getting a raise, you're going to get a bonus check, a performance review that knocks your socks off. You could also win an award from your workplace with Venus up here, right? She exalts the house of the gains of the career. Any kind of award, a professional award. But if you've been, in a dark place, a difficult place, not liking your job, not liking the work you do, pay attention to signs and synchronicities and messages coming through that are help redirect you in the 6 weeks that follow this cazimi towards a more fulfilling career path, a new job opportunity. And I really mean that because Venus is going to bring that with Mercury. Look to it as if you are like, you don't have to get the job this week, especially on Wednesday, but it's a good day to submit a resume, revise your resume. Talismanically, take Wednesday to revise a resume, submit a resume, apply for a job, schedule the interview. If they gave you a choice, we got an opening for an interview for this job, pick Wednesday. It's a powerful day for you. And the energy of the 10th house wants to reward you as well, in a way, right? And so with Icarus up here, just reminding you, if your wings are melting in the work you've been doing, it's not the place for you. The job career space is too squishy or something. You feel hot and bothered. It's going to open up doors of new directions. But sometimes you have to take the action. It's like that old thing, that old meme about the guy gets to heaven, St. Peter's at the pearly gate, and he gets to go talk to God. And he says, I prayed every year of my life to win the lottery. You never helped me. Why, God, why? And God said, I was trying to help. You have to buy the lottery ticket, dude. Right? You have to do your part. And that's what I'm seeing here for you. You got to do your part up here in the 10th house. So you have to look for the job on LinkedIn or wherever, your bulletin board in your local community center. You have to apply. You have to put your resume together. But if you take actions Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday around better work and career situations for those of you who are looking for work or don't like the work you're in, you're going to find things will unroll in a very powerful and synchronistic way. And you might get exactly the dream job that you always wanted. Finally, last and not least, solar figures up here with Sun and Pluto, and this is often considered to be in some traditions the house of the father. It can look like a difficult circumstance going on in the life of a father because it's news about the father. Okay. And in that regard, it may not be great news if you have an eldering parent or great grandfather or grandfather, because it's a father figure, not just a father. So it can be some challenges in the life of a father figure and may involve health. But I'm not going to tell you that's for sure or that's true, but I need you to be aware of that. But if that lightning bolt strikes you, it's exactly as it should be. The universe got its own clock, and so does the soul of that father figure. Your family system, up the line, down the line, is what the sun rules, right? The ancestral line. So someone in the ancestral line, likely parental father figure, grandfather, great Uncle Joe, may go through a sudden shocking crisis of some issues in their life, maybe their health. All right, moving on to the next sign. But before we do, let's draw a card. I'm not going to read the book. I'm just giving you the name of the card. You contemplate the meaning for yourself, right? You have peaks of joy. Well, I like that. Maybe nobody's going to suddenly, drop off from the face of the earth in your family system. Let's hope not, right? But peaks of joy. So it's card number 33. You want to know how synchronistic that is? You want to know? It's so damn synchronistic. Why? Because the 33rd age belongs to the 10th house. You are going to be in the 10th house stellium. The house is the age of 33. Yeah, like when Jesus died. But that's a code for the 33 vertebrae of the spine and the soma and the nectar of enlightenment that can drip into our reality and wake us up. It's a long esoteric meaning. That's why the Masons have 33 degrees. And so long story short, something's going to give you a peak of joy this week. Look for your news cycle on Wednesday. Look for email, phone calls, texts. Look for good stories coming through the top of your sky. All right. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. I have a progressed Gemini sun. Your progressed planets are never as powerful as your natal sky. There's secondary meanings like icing on the cake, okay? The cake layers underneath the icing, that's your natal chart. Now, if I look at this for Geminis and I take a look at all of that 9th house stellium, what a beautiful wild ride you're on, because this is flowing to your Gemini sun, career, moon, home and emotions, rising, simulation, avatar, character. And it is flowing to those elements of your being from the 9th house of book publishing, writing, academics, foreign lands, traveling, but more importantly, Dharma, true north, the house of God, spiritual knowledge, wisdom, spiritual teachers, spiritual textbooks. Now, I do have an agent. Her name is Eileen, and she's been so patient with me. And, Mercury is the agent in the house of book publishing. So I might have a great conversation with her, a bit of information or news exchange between the two of us this week ahead. That wouldn't be surprising under this kind of sky. But also, if you say you published a book and now it's going to hit the bestseller list, you wrote a book and you're looking for an agent or a publisher, like the kind of energy of the good things that Mercury can bring in your ninth house is showing up here. You could write something that's published that might include Substack. I don't know. It's hard to define it because traditional media belongs to the third house. So, but books really, longer forms of knowledge belong to the ninth, but you never know. Publications can be very lucrative or unexpected positive surprises. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, epicenter, Wednesday. Now, the other element here is travel abroad to distant lands and shores, like the old thing of the ninth house, right? The foreign people, the foreign place. You might get a phone call, text, or email from a foreign person that's going to be positive, surprising, and exciting this week. And because of Athena, it could be positive legal news because the ninth house is legal stuff with courts and justices and judges, the law books, or it could be about publications and publishing. The other energy of the ninth house is just think about foreign people with Venus up there, likely a female, but the sun could also mean a masculine figure, and news coming through the sky from that person Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that you will interpret as positive. You can see you're taking care of your health, especially the risings because of Hygeia here. She's having you deepen your health protocols, which is great. This can be advisors like the hand of the king. So you might have some positive advisory guidance around better health matters, especially for Gemini rising, coming through the sky this week. With this energy in the ninth house, it's Dharma, alignment with purpose, key to purpose, using your gifts and talents in the right way. Like, you know that expression, stay in your lane? Well, it's not even staying in your lane, it's finding your lane. What lane are you supposed to be in? And this is a week where you might have insights, divine downloads, and dreams that open up gateways of understanding about what your true lane in life is, especially because the ninth house was the Asclepium, where people went to dream at the temples of Asclepius or Asclepius, and then they would have these incredible dreams that would tell them which way to go in life. And it also shock and awe Uranus in the house of, solitude, meditation. So meditation, insights, dreams, downloads, tower-like moments, unexpectedly coming your way this week ahead. Let's draw a card for you. Don't worry, Pisces. I'll pop a card in for the end for you. You need to ride the wave. Okay, that's kind of funny because the water bearer, even though it's an air sign, is an angelic being pouring healing waters upon humanity. I got the hiccups. Talking too fast like an auctioneer. Anyway, ride the wave. I'm not going to navigate away back and forth between me and the thing. It's too much work. Number 14, card 14, ride the wave. It's like two dolphins jumping through the wave like surfers with someone riding the back of the one of the two dolphins. All right, ride the wave. Ride the wave of change, excitement, news, and information. This seems to be relatively positive. This coming your way. This is Asteroid Atlantis. You're definitely going to want to take the Mercury Cazimi webinar because some of you in the meditation might choose Atlantis. Also going deep, right, under the surface from other lives, but also maybe channeling ancient knowledge and wisdom as well. All righty, let's talk about Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. There is a stellium in your 8th house. Please watch yesterday's video that came out on Sunday, the 18th, please. You're going to once in a lifetime stellium because of Pluto there. You're looking at a very profound enlightenment possibility here. The 8th house is your deep inner life that is about transformation of the egoic identity. The snake that sheds the skin because it's too small for it. The skin's too small for the snake's growth. The caterpillar butterfly metaphor, a transformation of identity, a surrender of the old identity for the new one to be born. And because this is a deep spiritual occult house, like talking to dead people, alchemical knowledge, hermetic wisdom, tarot, numerology, astrology, it can be here. I think that you're going to also be finding some of that stuff drawing you into reality, like in a big way. But Mercury here, people born with this are very facile with being the hand of the king, astrologer priest to the king, according to Firmicus Maternus. But also, I've noticed people born with a Mercury in the 8th house are natural. I talk to dead people, okay? And, you might get a message from the dream realm or something like that, or even someone saying, stranger things have happened, stopping on the street and saying, I'm getting a message from your dead mom. Mediums do that to people sometimes. You may have a real thunderbolt moment of insight around some message coming from the great beyond, from someone in your life that you loved and has passed away. And in this chart, it looks like it's more likely a mother or mother figure, okay, to do with Venus and the rulership of your 4th house. But also, you might find yourself really looking at the money scene, where we call it chunky money here on YouTube. In my channel land, we call it the house of chunky money. It's unearned income, and it's money shared from others' money, shared financial resources. So the energy of that could look like a financial information week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with some surprising or unexpected news or information around your chunky money. Taxes, tax rebates, investments, shareholder, right, in a company, money that you and your spouse share, money from inheritances, and some kind of exciting news. It could be anything, guys. It could be that there was an inheritance you received and years ago, and suddenly they got another check to cut you because they found, oh my God, there was another resource from the person that we didn't see in the archives, or we forgot to send you the check. So there's some kind of like money coming in that may be unexpected, exciting information or news about your finances, but it's not your daily work paycheck and earnings. It's something else, okay? Mercury is the ruler of your 12th house. And this could also open up again the channels of your dream realms and spiritual awakening and insights that come to you that feel like a spiritual blossoming of some kind. And also Mercury is the ruler of your 3rd house. And there can be some information coming through to do with money connected to siblings that benefits you or surprises you in some way. So money and siblings is another narrative here. So stay tuned. Let me know how it goes in the comments when this week is unfolded. And it's Friday. Come back to the comments and let me know how it unrolled. The epicenter is Wednesday. So that's when you're going to really feel it coming through, right? Wednesday is the day of the cazemi. Astrologically speaking, you could do some talismanic magic or magical spells or incantations or a deep meditation for your chart. On Wednesday, ask the divine to give you the dream information that you need to move more in alignment with your spiritual truth, that kind of thing. Now, I drew a card for you, and it's listening. And I'm laughing because Mercury is a speaker, right? Communicator in the house of the dead. Please listen in for messages from the dead, but also listening to whatever you need to get from the dreams as well. You've got an activation of the 12th house, which lends itself to dream knowledge as well. Pay attention this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in particular for these messages. Listen carefully to what the sky is whispering in your ear. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. First things first, stellium of energy in the 7th house of long-term committed love, marriage, business partners, audience, marketplace, and clients and public for your 10th house of career. That's the 7th house. Is chock-a-block. Holy man, what are you going to do with that hot mess, right? Well, one thing is you're going to get information or news, maybe on Wednesday, a day or two on either side, from somebody else. You're not generating the information. I don't care. It's not yours to do. I don't even tell you to go write that email. Don't do it. It's nothing to do with you. Somebody is sending you a message. Is it going to be your marriage partner? Is it going to be a business partner? Is it going to be a client? There's something coming through the transom of information. Likely in our modern day, we get texts, emails, phone calls, that kind of thing. But you could also get it in other ways. Maybe it can be a face-to-face conversation with anybody that day. Really pay attention to Wednesday's communications and see what shows up for you. And it can be that the kind of information that's coming at you from somebody else is going to be a little bit like a thunder and lightning moment, a thunderstorm. It can be some news that feels a little bit unexpectedly surprising and maybe to you a little bit unwelcome. But on the other hand, it's not your story, it's theirs, right? And I want to remind you of something that, in the Four Agreements, the Toltec wisdom book by Miguel Ruiz, he talks about everybody sees you through the lens of the mitote or mitote, I don't know how to say it, mitote, someone correct me, but it's how the personal history of each individual will always be a filter by which they adore or hate you, right? That's why I don't take any more my accolades on my channel or my trolls personally. I got over that already. Thank you, universe. But people like me because there's something in me that you see that's the best of what you want to see in yourself, right? And vice versa. You're afraid that you talk as fast as I do and it irritates you to hear me because you do the same thing. Shadow work. It can be that whatever this person communicates to you on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday isn't yours to hold on to. Right? It isn't yours to hold on to. It could be their shit, but it's still coming to you for a reason. With, Icarus there, the wings are melting, right? So it can be a significant person in your life is having an experience of some difficult circumstance, a jolt, maybe a jolt to their career, maybe a jolt in some sort of part of their life. And you're just having to be there to take the information in. On the other hand, because it's all across from you and your sun, the ruler of your identity, is there, it can be an information that doesn't come through as welcome because it's like, oh, what do you mean you want to break up? So I'm having to warn you guys just because for you, it has some of that intensity for sure. When your sun is in the house of other people, you don't have control over the narrative, as if we actually really ever have control over the narrative, but you can't control this narrative. It's somebody else's story and it's directed at you. And you might take it personally. So be careful. Now, Mercury does rule a couple parts of your sky, right? He rules your second house of earned income and pocketbook, wallet, financial resources. And you also see the rulership of your 11th house of career gains, also 11th house of an elder sibling, one above you. And there may be something going on in the 11th house where there's some kind of kerfuffle or difficulty, but actually Mercury is flowing to the house of the elder sibling, your 11th house. So I doubt that there's any difficult information or conversation with that sibling, really, because Mercury, is flowing to that sibling house as opposed to, turbocharging it in a negative way. So it's probably not as all bad as that in this lineup. Mercury, though, as a money god for you, as one of in the south node here, it's possible that there's a bit of information coming from somebody else about their money. Not even your money. Your partner tells you they have no money, or there's something going on here. I don't even know where to go with it. Something like that is happening. Anyway, look for those information, news, and conversations coming through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that's not about you. I know you Leos hate me, and you troll the hell out of me when I ever mention Donald Trump happens to be a Leo rising, but he's the most famous Leo rising in the world, right? I will say, what if we hit a news cycle story? What's his wife's name? Donald Trump's wife. Anyway, his wife, the former model. I can't believe I can't remember his wife's name. Anyway, the first lady. What if the first lady is going to announce to the world that she's separating from Donald? Wouldn't that be a shock, right? Because, she seems to be tried and true, going to stick through. But that would be an example. So sorry, I know you hate it. Live with it. I don't know any other super famous Leos to compare you guys to. And he's in the news cycle all of the time. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Leos, you take everything when we draw the attention and spotlight away from you. I have to use famous people for other signs too. You're not the only one, just so you know. I have Leos in my life. I don't dislike you, okay? Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Yeah, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. First thing, it is a sky where your Lord Mercury always hits the sun 6 times a year. He conjuncts the sun. So you're always having to ride the wave of Mercury. Oh, wait, shoot, Leo. Now I really would have been trolled. I really would have been trolled if I had not drawn a card for you. I'm not kidding you. It would be it would be over, babe. I'd be in the toaster. I would have to block comments. And if you guys don't believe me, if you really don't believe me about how you guys are all over me all the time, you have to, I'm telling you, I get more trolls from you guys. It is the balancing act. Okay. Now that makes sense. Why does a balancing act card make sense for you guys? Because this is a teeter-totter. You have no planets in your sign, no gravity here. And look at the teeter-totter slam down in the house of your clients, your customers, Your significant other, your business partners, kaboom. You have to find a balancing act. At the very least, I could say stop giving all your energy away to the other people in your life and take some back for you this week ahead. Oh, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. I just trolled the Leos. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. First things first, there is a stellium of power in your sixth house of work. Go watch the video that dropped on Monday, the 18th, because that will give you how to handle this once in a lifetime stellium that lasts until February 8th. In the meantime, it's a work house. And there is news, information, phone calls, text message connected to gain livelihood and work stuff. Job, work, employment, employee structures. So it should be positive, but with the melting wings of Icarus here, it also can be like not good. Maybe it's going to be something you're not so much welcoming into your life, a thunderstorm. Hey, we're laying off this division, that kind of thing. Not to fret, something better will come. But I'm just saying, a square to Uranus would be Human Resources Department giving you a call. There is a possibility that there also could be a major change, right? Coming through the news story of your work. So pay attention to your texts, emails, and phone calls from your customers, clients, colleagues, boss. It may not be like being decapitated, Medusa being let off the job. And, it could be something different entirely. I'm totally not certain. And whatever this work situation is about, because Mercury rules your 10th house of career and Venus rules your house of money, Venus is protecting you. Even if you get laid off, you'll find something better and more lucrative, okay? Or there could be a change in the work that's shocking you and it's not you, like the boss quits. Or, a major person in the hierarchical structure changes their career path and leaves the job. That's the sun, right? So maybe if like the vice president, or, the director or somebody leaves, that opens up room for you to rise up. So that kind of shocking you that I never imagined Bob would leave. Bob said he's going to stay here till he dies. He's going to get his golden retirement package. And Bob says, I'm leaving this job. Well, then that could be all it is. It's not necessarily you, because all your colleagues, coworkers, the group that you work with, they're all in that sixth house. Health belongs to the sixth house, and sometimes with Mercury, he's the news guy to do with health. Now, that would be because you took a test. Mercury is like, here's your lab results, right? And you might have some unexpected surprise on the lab results. But you could also have a conversation here with an authoritative medical practitioner, high G in the 10th house, that has a lightning bolt quality to it, like a breakthrough in your health challenges. And the sun rules your house of addiction. So if you wanted to see an addictions counselor or a physician or medical person regarding addictions, that's another exciting thing that could be a breakthrough moment sometime this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it can be very positive because of the flow to Hygeia in the 10th house. Now, the other element here, which is the doctors and medical professionals and stuff like that, there's a possibility that you're going through a profound change of mind or divine insight around animals that you might want to have in your home, like a domestic animal, a pet. And that is part of what the sixth house is about, is our helper animals. And it's because it used to be the house of servants, right? And dogs were out there, helping herd the sheep, and cats were killing the mice, in the barn. So there's a sense that you are literally likely to have a new opportunity, insight, phone call, email around a possibility of becoming a pet or if you're not one, or some unexpected news or information about a pet. Doesn't mean you have to get a pet this week. Could even be finding a pet store or a breeder or something like that. You're like, you're seeing that's the direction you want to go. You see? Now, energetically as well, your sixth house can be about debt. You have a credit card debt or a major loan, or you owe some money. And there can be a kind of bit of information that's quite positive here, especially with Mars going into that part of your chart and ruling the house of banking. He'll be there on Friday. So you might have an opportunity to restructure debt or eliminate debt. Okay. And you're going to get the information and news you need in order to pull that off if you have debt. And this includes mortgages and refinancing of mortgages. And last but not least, rental property. Information or news regarding a rental property, whether you're the landlord or the leasee. Information about rentals, tenancies, properties, information. All these cazemis can take up to 6 weeks to fully flesh out the aftermath, the afterglow. Okay, so pay attention to that. I'll get a card for you and see what, oh, and Mercury does rule, as I said. No, I didn't say your body. If you're a Virgo rising, you're definitely looking at something to do with improving your well-being physically. Okay. Virgo, sun, it's your career and job stuff. And also I would indicate here with Mercury's rulership of your 10th house, as I mentioned, it definitely has some flood over to your career space as well. A card for you from the deck is slow and steady. Well, everything is slow and steady when you're an earth sign, right? Slow and steady. Beautiful picture. Sorry, but it's like a fairy girl on a like a snail shell, slow and steady. Number 12. 12 is also enlightenment, or like a hangman in the tarot, where there's a bolt of a halo around the upside down dude's head, and that's the illumination of a kind of a halo of enlightenment. But it also can be like an insight or an illumination, crown chakra opening as well. It's also the card of suspension, or something going upside down, inside out, topsy-turvy. And if it does, it's definitely also connected to topsy-turvy, inside out in the work and health and career space. That's what I've got for you. Shall we move on to the next sign, which is the sign of Libra. Did you guys know that years ago I was trolled a bit by somebody, and they were pretty persistent, that I slur my words on my channel? And I don't know, but I don't think I've ever slurred my words. I certainly don't drink when I'm recording, that's for sure. But I think I try to talk as crisply as I can at the speed that I talk at. But sometimes people can be so weird. And I was thinking about that the other day and thinking, what were they hearing? Maybe they weren't an English speaker. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. The reason I thought of that, because I know that Minopond always punctuates his words like this. And sometimes I find myself doing the same to break up the speed, if you know what I mean. All right. So one of my favorite channels is Minopond, but another one I recommend is Illuminated Tarot. This woman is brilliant. I'd love to have her on my channel one time. It is Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign, and the story is clearly a love story. Oh, love means never having to say you're sorry. That's from the love story movie with Ali McGraw back in the day, of my growing up in the 70s or 80s. So you have something going on in romantic love here. There's a stellium here, Libra. And there's something about romantic love, conception of children, your own children, procreation, and romance and sex. It's really intensified here. And you will be finding more about that in the video from yesterday when I cover the stellium. Please come to my Cazimi webinar if you like. It's a flow to Libra, so it comes back at you in a positive way. And it's literally a kind of news story, right? Because Mercury wants to deliver information. You're pregnant, your partner's pregnant, your children are pregnant, somebody's pregnant. That's a Venus story. Information, news. Oh, it's like a unexpected thunderstorm, or is it like just a lightning bolt of something unexpected? And you didn't think you could have a child, you're too old, or your partner, and you weren't planning to have a baby, or I don't know, maybe your children weren't planning and one of them is pregnant. That's the story I could see being emergent this week, especially Epicenter Wednesday. And if you were trying to win money, and Libra, your sun rules your house of windfalls, and it's in the Cazimi, and there's a possibility of a win, especially with Venus there. She is the goddess of that, and Pluto is the god of wealth, and that's a wealth yoga. So in a lucky money house, now you don't have to win the lottery. You could get something like a job advancement, and you feel like you won the lottery. Oh my God, they're going to double my salary. But it's going to feel like something very positive, potentially like as if you jackpotted out on a financial gain situation, likely connected to your career with Jupiter's position here. In your fifth house, you are artistic, creative, and you are entrepreneurial, and anything to do with that part of your creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial life, you get a call back for the edition. You get a contract for your book. Your song is hitting #1 on Billboard. You get an agent. Mercury represents agents, brokers, middlemen. You get an agent, broker, middleman for your book, for your whatever. You get a book publishing contract deal that knocks your socks off. You've always wanted to be with Simon and Schuster, and you made it at last. That's exciting if that's a part of your wheelhouse. And Mercury can translate the excitement of this news cycle this week ahead and bring some of the translation to his homes of book publishing, ninth house, right? Book publishing, international, foreign land travel, sudden opportunities with a romantic partner. Yeah. Also, we can translate some of that to foreign lands and distant shores, backroom deals and negotiations. So there's a lot of ways it can sort of spin out. You could get an employment contract with a foreign company if that's something that you might want to do. I don't know. Mercury is also quite capable of in the sky of delivering you some kind of moment of celebrity, moment of fame, moment of recognition, where you're going to stand out, right? And people are going to like applaud, and you're going to take your bows Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to draw a card for you, and we're drawing from this deck, the Enchanted Map. And I love the Enchanted Map card without reading it, because I just think that the words and the images are enough, right? And you don't need to move past that. Like it's literally a stop there, and the buck stops with that. All right. So you got the word education, and it kind of doesn't surprise me because your ninth house is activated, which is an education house. And in Vedic astrology, education and learning and all of that can also be connected to the fifth. So there might be some exciting, surprising opportunities to teach a class, being asked to teach a class, or to take a class, or to sign up for some course of study. This could look like getting accepted at a school that you really wanted to go to, or even professional educational opportunities as well. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. You have a stellium in your fourth house. Holy moly. Yes, you do. I don't think I'll probably have to add it myself. I glitched. This is always an eyeball issue when I just glance at it. Of course, it's your fourth house. So you have a stellium in the fourth house. The fourth house is your home and property, land and real estate. It's what you're doing in the home. And it's also your midnight hour in your private life, out of the public eye. And now with this news or information, especially with the flow to the eighth house, there can be an unexpected opportunity for a change of home connected to maybe buying and selling, or in the sky as a Friday renting. There's also the possibility of financial restructures. Mercury's your accounting guy, your abacus, you're looking at the book, so to speak. And there may be an opportunity for a financial reset by getting a lower rate or refinancing some kind of loan or mortgage connected to property, land, and real estate. So looking for that to come through the sky Wednesday, a day or two on either side as information or news that could be feeling quite exciting. Now, on a downside, father figures, son, in the house of the family of origin, your parents. And it can be like a grandfather, great uncle, as long as the authority figure is male, and dad, and Pluto, and death, and transformation, and melting wings, and Hygeia, the god of illness in the house of death. I'm going to mention it, god of health matters. You're one of the signs that this information could feel like a bit of a thunderstrike, because you're going to get some information that a father or father figure is not in great shape. This is going to be Wednesday, okay? And the other element of this can look like a day or two before either. Unexpected decisions and actions are getting ready to be taken regarding where you live. And you may not make all the decisions right away, but look for information coming to you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that lead you to know what to decide to do, to stay where you live or to move your home, and what the next home would be. When Mars enters on the 23rd of January, your fourth house, it opens up the doors of opportunity to rent a property. Okay. And also when Mars moves there, renovate a house, construct, build, change it up, gut it, something like that. But you're getting the information you need. Funny enough, it could just be as simple as the information you get a quote from a contractor. And now you know the expenditures needed to paint, renovate, gut, rebuild, something to do with your home. Okay, that's all it could be. But Mercury's giving you the best guidance and information on Wednesday regarding choosing what to do around those things. Because Venus wants to beautify the home, right? She wants to make it pretty, and she wants to make it lucrative. And you could even like build a suite in your home to rent out a room, or rent out a suite, or rent out the attic, or rent out the basement suite. And that could be a very preoccupying feature this week ahead. And you'll get the information you need on Wednesday to make the decision. Mercury transfers or translates some of this fourth house story to your 11th house, which is your house of an elder sibling, one above you, allies and benefactors and people who wish to help you. And Mercury can translate some of this energy as well beautifully to Gemini, which is your chunky money house, which again is also called the house of inheritances. But it also is good for mortgages and loans and refinancing, any kind of financial property situation usually, okay? And I don't think you have to do the whole refi on Wednesday. As I said, you could get a quote. You could have someone, your bank calling you, a mortgage broker was reaching out to say that the whole thing's changed. We've got a way better rate. Do you want to refinance? That doesn't always work, by the way, the refinancing. Depending on where you live in the world. In Canada, we're locked in for 5 years at a time and we're stuck with it, right? We're like, oh, really? I've got the card goblins. Goblins. I think of ghosts and goblins, that 8th house, 4th house is activated. And those are kind of like ancestral childhood stuff, family of origin, karmic stuff, and the goblins that are there. So, of course, if there's a member of your family going through a profound challenge with their health or worse, it may dredge up some of your childhood goblins. And the sun, Pluto, that's like death father figure. I have to be literal here, right? I mean, I have to tell you what I see. So if you're not prepared for that, take some time to do that. And maybe it's just the ghosts of the past, But the sun does rule your 10th house of father figures, and he is getting pretty intensely bound into a melting wings and a Pluto story. And with Venus, maybe there's some inheritances coming. And it doesn't have to be a parent. It could be a great grandparent or something. I'm just giving you the real sky, guys. I talk real astrology. It's not always a rainbow and a unicorn. Now I have to edit you because I blabbered on about the stellium in your 3rd house, which doesn't exist. All right. Sagittarius, sun and moon and rising. It is a stellium in your 3rd house. This is siblings, cousins, uncles, aunts, cousins mostly, things to do with your neighbors and neighborhood, matters connected to online social media, and most specifically writing. If you're a Sagittarius with siblings, neighbors, and neighborhood, or you wish to write, communicate, market, or sell, teach, or learn, bunch of words for the 3rd house, information and news will come through to you about that. This is a very powerful place if you want to write a book. Athena is here. Sun rules the house of book publishing, and you might get a breakthrough, an agent, a news that you're going to get a publishing deal. You finish the first draft and somebody raves about it and wants to take you on as a client, like an agent. Whatever it is, it's going to feel like a thunderbolt of lightning because of the Sabian symbol. Now, a sibling in your life might be going through a hard time. Their wings might be melting. They might be falling like they're falling from the sky, and they may be going through a decapitating experience where they're losing something in their life. They lose their head, they lose their job. I don't know. But a sibling could be going through something, and you're kind of on the sidelines in witnessing mode, right? Pay attention to this week for conversations with neighbors or people in the local city or environment as you go about your business. Look for those conversations or communications with those people on Wednesday, give or take a day or two before and after, to be profoundly important and deliver information that you need to hear. All right. Partly with this stellium, if you are in the social media sphere, websites, online social media communications projects, then some kind of good news might come through or information might come through. Venus kind of gives it goodness and bonification around something you are doing social media wise, being well received, being popular with the audience or the marketplace, because that's what Mercury rules, your 7th house of the marketplace, the audience, the public, the clients, the customer. 7th house is 10 houses from the 10th, and therefore it becomes the out picture of your 10th house of career. You might find that the 3rd house could open up an educational opportunity. Mercury loves to learn. He's like involved in educational energy, curiosity, and the mind. And so there may be a information that you're accepted at your favorite university. Sun is here, rules universities, or you get accepted into a program of study or learning, skills-based or higher education, either are good. And this is a nice information breakthrough week ahead. Maybe you might also find an unexpected travel opportunity emerging, news or information coming to you, and you want to go ahead and book that ticket. It could be a pilgrimage. It could be a trip abroad. It could be a local trip. But booking trips is going to be an element of the week ahead. Or taking them, but more likely booking them. And Mercury is the ruling planet of 2 signs in your sky. And one of them is your 7th house, which is that audience, marketplace, and public, but an unexpected communication involving a travel opportunity with a relationship partner, right? That's an idea here. Or you could also have an unexpected break, bit of information on Wednesday connected to your career up here and your reputation. If you were dating somebody, it could be a getaway trip, and it could even lead to a marriage proposal. That would be exciting. Or you go to the restaurant and they pop the question, bended knee and a ring in hand, right? I mean, as romantic as it sounds, I could see almost that if you've been dating someone for a long time under this kind of sky. It wouldn't be the first date, that's for sure. All right, let's draw a card for you. And anything else I'd say to you is, I certainly think that when, Mars on the 23rd, and watch my Stellium video covering that, stellium from the 23rd of January to February 8th. When Mars enters your 3rd house, there's definitely travel. Mars loves to travel, and would be travel for love or romance or acting, performing, creativity, things like that. You have to travel on set, maybe. You never know. Life has had its way with you. Well, what is that card? The Field of Dreams, number 21. Field of Dreams. Well, Mars will be entering the stellium and owns one of the dream houses. And Mercury with Mars could be giving you not just like, I dream, of genie. Venus owns your house of your long range wishes, goals, and dreams as well. I'd say the Field of Dreams is opening you up this week ahead with information that can help restore or activate some dreams you've had for your life that maybe you have put on hold, that maybe you have had dormant, right? Go back to the earlier video when I said 2012 and then 2018, 19, and then again, like last January, and here we are again. These kinds of conjunctions with the sun happen on a regular rhythm. Go watch the intro, but not with a stellium like this, not with profound Pluto transformation in here. This is a whole different thing, guys. And last but not least, best and always best, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Capricorns, I always call you guys Cappies. Well, your 2nd house is jam-packed. Your 2nd house is full of energy. It is money, earned income. It is your face. It is your teeth. It is your nose. It is what you put in your mouth to eat or smoke or drink. It is the 2nd house. The face is here. The 2nd house is a house that is going to be activated by a lot of energy, especially Friday when Mars moves here. Go watch the video about that. Please do. It came out on the 18th of January, where I cover the 2 weeks that follow the 23rd of January, because there's a huge once in a lifetime stellium in your 2nd house. But this week ahead, it is on the month of Wednesday. So on the day of Wednesday, that Mercury will be in the heart of the sun, and he will activate financial news. Now, it could be also news about your face or your teeth, or it could be something to do with you speaking. This is a house of speech. So there's a very important email, phone call, text, or real conversation, like face-to-face, happening with somebody on Wednesday. Okay. And because this kind of sky also talks about Venus, like she's with the story, and she rules your house of romantic love, there can be a very important conversation about something with someone you would consider a romantic partner, or someone you're dating, or someone you wish to date, that kind of thing. You might notice that the conversation can also take on overtones to do with nothing to do with dating, but just what Venus also stands for, which is money. But in this case, she rules your career house. So it could also be a conversation about a career opportunity. So look to your LinkedIn, look to your phone calls, look to your text messages, look to all of that. You could take an interview, apply for a job, receive news that you're going to get the job. All of that stuff looks like pretty positive for you on Wednesday, but it comes out of the blue because there's a thunderbolt lightning strike energy. You may not have even thought it was possible, or you're not even looking. Mercury rules your work house, right? Your 6th house. He wants to say, here's a job. Or Mercury also says, here's a health thing. You want to improve your health. That's hygiene, the house of sickness. Connect it to your dietary habits, your teeth, your nose, your face. And some of you might get some information that, oh, I just found out that I have high blood pressure or I have high blood sugar and I have to change my dietary habits. But if that's going to happen, you're going to know that pretty quickly, right? This information comes through this week ahead. But it could equally be information about a job, right? Fiscal hygiene connected to work would be the code here. And I would use the cazemi on Wednesday just to send my resume out to apply for jobs, to call around and see if someone needs some hired help. They can be very lucky that way, but the news or information coming to you about the work situation can be the callback, the first interview, again, like being scouted or headhunted. Mercury rules your ninth house. Ninth house is like advisors and human resource departments and stuff like that. But also it can be headhunting, being headhunted. So you might get information or news coming through that someone wants to consider you for a job. When it comes back to the romantic thing, if there's any kind of romance conversations going on to do with romantic dating, love partners, it could involve someone in a distant shore or far off land. Mercury rules your ninth house of foreign people, foreign places. This is also similar, possible that you might be unexpectedly getting news around pregnancy, or it can be that your partner's pregnant, you're pregnant, or you're going to be a grandparent, right? And that would be epicenter Wednesday potentially. But give it 6 weeks to give it its full rollout, right? You could have some financial meltdown here, so be careful. Sun is ruling your investments in the stock markets, and the melting wings of Icarus can be a downfall, especially given that it's, got a Pluto edge to it. So if you have any risky investments, just be careful, because you don't have to hold on to the risky, crazy ass, thing that you invested in that's a long shot, right? You can always sell before a downdraft. But you might get the news you need or the information you need to make that decision this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Never take my astrological advice as financial guidance or health guidance. This is just for entertainment purposes only. And a sibling too older than you, and information or news about or from that sibling. And I don't care what your relationship with that sibling is. I'm just telling you that your ninth house of the sibling too older is activated, and Mercury is that sibling too older than you. So it can be some insight, news, or information about that sibling. Under this kind of sky could even come from a sibling 3 older than you, or 3 younger than you. Okay, so let's move on and draw a card for you. And it could also come from a sibling 4 years older, four older than you in birth order, right? So sibling 2 older or 4, sibling 2 years older or 4 years younger. Not 4 years, 2 older or 4 younger in birth order. Those siblings are activated profoundly this week ahead at the cazemi. All right, let's get going. Grab a card. Hope that made sense to you. I mean, because I sounded like I was not saying anything properly. I sounded like I was not actually speaking English. Wide open. You need to be wide open this week ahead. There's somebody standing on a top of a rocky hill, looking at the sky, a butterfly flying above her head. It's card number 42. She's open to the heavens. You need to be wide open, Capricorn, to whatever's going to show up this week ahead. It's just a stance. It's just a way of being. Okay. And this is a house of your speech. So be very wide open in what you have to say or speak or write or text or communicate to others this week ahead. Most likely these are verbal things, the throat, the speaking platform. Sometimes we voice dictate, that counts too. But what you have to speak and all of that, be very wide open, all righty, to whatever the sky is calling you to do. Thank you for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a Monday drop. It is my shortest video. Whew, I'm done. All right. The lighting is a little bit weird. Sometimes I can get away with better lighting in the day here, but I don't even care anymore what my lighting looks like. I kind of passed that edge already. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week ahead.